Let's head to the Ashanti Region capital, Kumasi now, as residents of Ahodwo come to terms with the killing of 3 people in 1 week by gunmen. 2 armed men on motorbike Wednesday afternoon are said to have robbed a young man of his money, sending traders running for their lives. The broad daylight attack on the young man happened in front of our news team at the same spot where a Chinese national is said to have been shot on Tuesday by suspected armed robbers. A team of armed police personnel came to the scene 5 minutes after the suspected robbers had left. Live FM's Erastus Asaridonko witnessed the attack and reports.
These residents tell me a man was shot on this side of Ahodwo last week by suspected armed robbers. I heard what sounded like a tire burst. When I raised my head, I saw one of them shoot the man and grabbed his bag. I left my kiosk and ran. I saw one holding the gun and the other was on a motorbike. Now I get suspicious when I see anyone on a bike.
Very bad.
Few meters from here, a Chinese national was also shot by 4 armed men in the early hours of Tuesday. I'm told that they parked the vehicle to this side of the road and he crossed to this side to buy the credit. And apparently 4 men came around, snatched the bag he was holding, and when he turned around, they gunned him down right here where I'm standing. So I'm told that they've put sand on the blood, but this is the exact spot where he lay. This gentleman witnessed everything. I would like him to tell me what happened that day. They parked their vehicle over there. One crossed the street and requested to buy 100 Ghana cedi credit. I bent over to get the credit for him, but as I raised my head, I saw one guy snatch his bag, and as he turned, he shot him in the chest. His colleagues turned the vehicle around and picked him up. Whilst reporting on the shooting of the Chinese national, 2 men on motorbike attacked this young man around midday here at Ahodwo. I observed the motor cross the street, then they snatched his bag.
There were 2 in the bike, they just picked it and they took that way. It's about, I think, 4,008. Something like that sort has not happened to me before, so I'm kind of confused and depressed, but we give thanks to God that no casualty was reported.
A team of armed police personnel arrived at the scene 5 minutes after the attackers had left. Some residents of Ahodwo spoke to Love News. It's not safe here anymore. A man was shot in front of my other shop. Now I'm scared.
We hear
of these cases, but experiencing it live right here at Ahodwo makes it scary for us. Reporting for JoyNews, Erastus Asaridonko, Kumasi.
A really interesting story there. My colleague Erastus Asaridonko joins us via Zoom for more on this. I can imagine how you felt, Erastus, while you're reporting on robberies in that suburb of Kumasi. You witnessed another. Really, this must have been quite a panicky situation. Tell us more about it.
Exactly. Just as we're wrapping up on the midday news, I saw the 2 men on the motorbikes speed across the Semas junction of Ahodwo. And so I was signaling to my cameraman to check what that is, because it was not usual of motorcycle riders to run at top speed like that. And then some few minutes later, we saw the gentleman with his hands on his head coming from that area. He has been attacked, the money in his polythene sack taken from him, and the traders were running helter-skelter because they were afraid of their lives. And so it was quite shocking that just the same location where they shot a Chinese national just a day before. This is the same location that these two motor riders have come, suspected armed robbers have come to mount surveillance and rob another person from the same area. So it tells you of the impunity and the brazen manner in which these suspected armed robbers are operating now.
And this gentleman who was attacked, where was he coming from? The bank, a mobile money vending shop?
Well, so he tells me that his wife works in that bank for some security purposes, so I wouldn't want to disclose the name of the bank. But so he came with the money from the house. He says he did not take the money from the bank, but he was holding the money when he entered the premises of the bank. His wife was supposed to add some money to that amount so that he can send it to another person via mobile money. And so he went in there to notify the wife, came from the bank, came across where we were doing the report, and went to stand at the vendor to try to take that money and add it to what he was having at that moment. That was when the robbers attacked him and took the polythene bag from him. And so when you look at his face, he was so distraught. He said he did not know that the place was so dangerous at that particular time. All that the money, mobile money vendor told him was that he cannot stay there for long. He has to transact his business and move on because the place is dangerous. That is what he told us.
Erastus, it's quite surreal that this will happen just while you are doing a report on attacks in the area. But let's talk about general security in the Ashanti region. For some weeks now, we've been discussing that, and we've been highlighting all the various incidents, including alleged murders that have not been resolved. What's the general mood in the Ashanti region capital, and what are you picking from the police?
Well, so if we start recounting these incidents, and in all of them, what is different around this time is that the robbers, after robbing these victims of their valuables, you know, some of them have been shot dead, and that is the disturbing part. That is what is getting people scared at this moment. Let's take you to June in Ampetia in the Ashanti region. Juliana Osei, who was pregnant, was stabbed to death when she tried to save her daughter from one of the suspected robbers. In July, Mark Amufa, who is an SDA caretaker, was gunned down in broad daylight at Bantama when he took money from the bank. And when you go to Santase and Yinem, Pastor Maxwell Atakra was also gunned down in his own house when robbers attacked residents of that compound house. In August, Owusu Ajay, who is a mobile money vendor at Onye, close to Ejuso, was also gunned down in his own kiosk whilst he was working into the evening recently. And so from June till now, we can talk about more than 6 people who have been killed in some of these shootings. And that is what is getting people alarmed. You can talk of Ahodwo itself. Just on the Kasi Road, close to Ahodwo at Tinga Junction, one person was shot by 2 suspected robbers on a motorbike. That was last week. Before, the Chinese national was also shot by 4 men on 2 motorcycles. And this one, as we were reporting, also happened within the same area. And so it gets people, you know, into a sort of frenzy, people asking what has gone wrong, what has changed. The police are not really giving us any information at the moment, except to say that they are investigating. With the Ejuso Onye case, they've arrested 2 people. The other ones, they say they are investigating. But what residents are asking for is for the police to give them a sense of confidence. It's for them to say that this is our strategy, this is what we are doing, and so people should stay calm. That is what is not coming at the moment.
Pastor, so earlier on the AM show this morning, DCOP David Ajamanije, who is Deputy Ashanti Regional Police Commander, spoke to Mama Viowusu-Apoaje, and what he said was that the sense that these incidents are increasing in Kumasi, it's not the case because the statistics do not speak to that.
Well, so these are separate incidents, I must say. The June one occurred at Ampetia in the Ashanti region. The July one, the SDA caretaker, occurred directly in Kumasi, Bantama, in broad daylight to be precise. When you go to Santasi and Yinem, this is Kumasi proper. Jiso is off Kumasi, just a few meters from Kumasi, but within the Ashanti region. When you go to Atonsu, the man who was gunned down, Atonsu is directly sitting in Kumasi. Ahodwo, we have 2 people shot in the last 4 days. The Chinese man was at Ahodwo, which is Kumasi proper, and on the Castle Road, close to Ahodwo, is also in Kumasi proper. So when you look at it that way, then you will say that, yes, some of them, many of them, out of what we have gathered from June to now, happened in Kumasi. The bullion van which was attacked, Manso Edubia, is in Ashanti region. So, yes, that's what the real terms on the ground indicate. As to whether they see it other ways, I don't know what to say on that one.
All right. Thank you very much. Erastus Asare Donko is with our Live News team in Kumasi, bringing us up to speed on the security situation in the Ashanti region capital and some other adjoining communities. And we also have been speaking to DCOP David Ajamanije on an earlier program, the AM show, and he's encouraging residents to volunteer information on any of the incidents that we've reported on. Now, away from security issues, this is your election headquarters. Let's focus on election-related news now.